everyone, and welcome to another episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle. At this point in time, wrestling video podcast on YouTube, only place for the time being where we're working on an audio variation. At this point in time, I kind of dabbled with it a little bit, but now I'm in that spot of needing to make a few more decisions on what I want to do on the audio side. So we'll be working on that over the period of time here very, very soon. But this episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle is going to focus around Monday Night Raw on August the 21st, 2017. This is the Raw after SummerSlam, and to be honest with you, for the most part, outside of a couple of, decent area, I won't say decent, some really good areas, this show was not all that good to me. At least it didn't feel like it was all that good to begin with. But they started off really, really hot with Lesnar and Heyman coming out. Lesnar, giant smile on his face. It looked like he was into everything that was going on. It looked like he was into actually being out there and everything in that sense. Heyman cuts another just like great promo on about Lesnar winning, overcoming the odds and the conspiracy theories and everything that was going against him going into SummerSlam. So they go to leave, or basically the promo ends, and it looks like they're about to go to leave. All of a sudden you get the Braun's music hits. Braun Strowman comes out. He basically just stares down with Lesnar. Lesnar, saying it's like, I'm the champ, what are you gonna do? And Strowman ends up, looks like he's going to go for a chokeslam, misses him, hits Lesnar with a big boot, and then two running power slams, and lo and behold, they are having Braun Strowman, who has yet to eat an F5, yet to eat a suplex, and was not pinned by Brock Lesnar in any way, shape, or form recently. It looks like he's going to be the next guy for Brock Lesnar down the road, and Strowman leaves him lying and then basically just leaves. And a matter of fact, a little bit later on in the show, they do announce that, as I was saying, he was going to be the next guy for Brock Lesnar, and it ends out becoming the truth because Braun Strowman is going to go up against Brock Lesnar at the No Mercy pay-per-view, and actually, we've got some time before the next pay-per-view. Oh, thank you. Thank everything that there's time before the next pay-per-view on that one. But it will be Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, and this should be an interesting build-up. And if it's anything like the Fatal 4-Way build-up, it's going to be fun. This one's actually going to be, could be really fun if they work everything right. Braun Strowman, I know a lot of people initially were like completely against this guy and everything, and it's like, oh, this guy can't be any good. And he has proven a lot of people wrong and made fans out of a lot of people in that sense throughout that entire time frame, from the beginning of last year when he came back as just Braun Strowman himself, to now going up against Brock Lesnar in a one-on-one match. So he's done some very good work over the last year and few months. So it's been really good. So up next, this one's a little bit of a bittersweet one because I'm filming this on a Wednesday now. By the way, I haven't really mentioned that before. I'm filming this on late Wednesday morning. It's almost noon. It's almost noon at this point when this is being filmed. This one was the Brooklyn Street Fight with Enzo, Amore, and Big Cass. And this was looking like the basic squash match or extended squash match that you have been seeing with Enzo and Big Cass over the last number of weeks and everything in that sense, where, Enzo cuts a scathing promo and then kind of gets beaten up. But there's a spot towards the end, what ended up being the end of the match, that, Big Cass has done plenty of times. He goes for the big boot, misses, launches himself out of the ring, and falls to the ground. He goes for that here again. Apparently, he landed extremely awkward, and from all indications of the reports that are out, he actually tore his ACL, which could be a 9-month thing. And it doesn't look like this was a worked injury. As a matter of fact, the way that everything was going after the fact and everything, it just didn't feel like it was a sell. it didn't feel like that he was selling. And if he was selling, he was selling really damn good. But you could tell he's kind of talking with the ref, and he tries to go through the match and everything in that sense. But then the match ends out getting called off, and they call Enzo the winner due to the injury, everything in that sense. At the time, it was kind of hard to tell whether he was selling or if he was, or if it was work or not. But it seems like it's not a work, and Big Cass could be out for a little while. But by that, it could be 9 months. That's usually a 9-month healing process if it's an ACL, and hopefully it's actually something less serious than that. But generally, when it's always hard to say that. Generally, whenever you see that with a knee injury, it ends out being the worst thing possible each time, and that's what might be the case here. So that is very unfortunate. Hopefully he gets better, gets to come back, and at least get some kind of run out of this at some point in time, because it looked like they were going to try to push him at least decently far. I don't know how far they were going to go with Big Cass, but they were going to try something with him, and hopefully he'll be able to come back, and they still want to give him that shot or something in that sense. Up next, though, afterwards, you had Emma going up against Dana, or not Emma going up against Dana, but yeah, Emma and Dana Brooke backstage, which, again, this one wasn't really, this one was put out there a little bit later. It was very unfortunate for Dana, and that's, kind of prayers and heartfelt condolences out there. Her boyfriend passed away either Monday night or sometime in that time frame, because I think Tuesday they made something on that one. This is getting very somber in the terms of real life side of everything. And you got to feel for Dana Brooke on that one. You don't want to have to deal with the loss of somebody she cares about, someone she loves, anything in that sense. To go along with it, but to get back a little bit on track, because thoughts, prayers out to Dana Brooke on that side. Hopefully, really hard to say on that one. It's hopefully it's something that she can come back and try to continue on, because she seems like she's a person who is trying, even though she's not that good yet, she's really trying to get a lot better and trying to be helpful and everything in that sense. She seems like a team player, basically, to go along with everything. So back onto the track of everything. You had the backstage segment with Emma and Dana Brooke, and Emma basically is continuing doing this delusional trash talking, saying that if situations were different, she would be the champion right now. Starts trash talking Nia Jax, who, of course, appears right behind her. Emma basically turns around and is like, "How long were you there?" Nia's like, long enough. And they were going to have a match, which they did go out there, have that match, and it was Nia Jax squashing Emma pretty quickly, actually. So they're really going back on this thing of Emma trying to have these be almost like delusional heel, that she should be getting higher opportunities. Then she goes out there to have a match and gets beaten with that sense. I don't know if this is like an attempt at a face turn or something with her. I don't know where they're trying to go with this, but we'll see where they are going with that one. Up next, you had Elias Sampson. He was out there to sing another song. He had done one at SummerSlam, mainly about Brooklyn, in that sense of everything. But so he didn't want to come up with another one for Brooklyn. He wanted to come up with one for R-Truth. And then he starts singing R-Truth's song. And he was like, "Dad, just kidding." He did yeah, just kidding. I'm going to play some real music now, because he's making a thing saying he doesn't really care for rap or anything to go along with that. Elias Sampson is absolutely amazing. Just with everything with everything he does, you can almost tell that he's to the point that he's having a hard time maybe containing a smile with like how much heel he is getting off of all this. Even to the point where like people are trying to get behind him during the song and start clapping and everything, and he just stops. He just stops, berates the crowd, and then continues on going. He eventually gets interrupted by R-Truth. They have a match, really quick match. Nothing really to say about this. Let's get Elias Sampson another feud right now. I mean, you can have him go out there and either beat a jobber or beat a veteran or something in that sense on a weekly basis, but eventually he's going to have to do something a little bit more than just having go out there, sing this song, which they're great, by the way. They're absolutely great in the terms of how he gets heel heat behind everything. I also love the bits with Corey Graves, Booker T, and Michael Cole. These are actually really good snippets of the show. This was very enjoyable. So this brings us to, I believe, the end of the first hour. Man, we had a big promo at the beginning of the first hour and a big promo to end the first hour, because Kurt Angle comes out towards the end of that first hour and he brings out his surprise, which was that John Cena was gonna be on Monday Night Raw. So no NXT call-up, no nothing. As a matter of fact, you got no NXT call-ups on this show, no debuts, no nothing on that sense. But he basically... He starts cutting a quick promo and saying, you know, I like SmackDown well enough, but I needed to come to Monday Night Raw because I want to be face-to-face with a certain person. Cue Roman Reigns. Cue the "you both suck" chance. Oh my god. I was wondering if they were if they were trying for something different than that, but the Brooklyn crowd was like, we're going our own way with this. One of the few times that I'm kind of okay with it, kind of okay with like the crowd chants with how they go about everything, because this is one of those bits like WWE's trying to they want to manufacture some kind of chant, and then the crowd's like, yeah, we're not going to give that to you. We're going to do this to go along with it. Instead of getting like Cena and Roman chants, they end up getting "you both suck" and Undertaker chants during this segment in their promo talking. I like how Roman starts talking to Cena, and he basically trash talks him about all of the stuff he says on Twitter, and that he like basically he's all Twitter talk to Roman and everything to go along with that. And I like how Cena's like, actually, I'm not here to talk. I'm here to fight. They tease the fact that they're going to have like a brawl between Cena and Roman. And then lo and behold, in the terms of the buzzkill, it's the Miz. Miz, you're great. You are great. He basically comes out there and almost goes into shoot mode on both of those guys, like to the point that the crowd gets way behind Miz in this one, and even chanting like, where's his moment, and he deserves it, like he wants his moment, while these guys continually get him and everything to go along with it. I like how they get to a point where Miz asks the crowd if the crowd thinks that Raw needs Cena, and he says no, and like the crowd starts saying no. He says like, well, you got all these people saying they don't need you here. I love how Cena just goes like, well, I'm a man of the people, see ya, and starts to leave, but Miz just stops. It's like, I'm not done with you. Type moment. This eventually leads to a tag match being made where you have Cena wanting a tag match where he's going to team up with Roman Reigns. And I love the look Roman Reigns gives him. Roman Reigns just like that look like, I don't want to team with you type thing. But apparently it gets accepted eventually somewhere down the line in that. And he challenges Miz to pick one of the other Mistras like Bo Dallas or Curtis Axel. But lo and behold, it was Samoa Joe who came out. Joe was going to end up being the tag team partner. This does eventually start out a brawl where Cena and Roman do clear both of them out. And Cena and Roman have a stare down right at the end of it. So yeah, not a bad one. It does lead to the main event of the night, which is going to be Miz and Samoa Joe going up against Roman Reigns and John Cena. I liked, and they had a backstage segment with Miz and Joe, like Miz and the Mr. and Joe in there. And you had Miz going over this this crazy game plan and everything in that sense, how Joe's going to join the Miztourage and everything to go along with it. He wants to throw out this game plan for success. And then Joe just gets up, looks at him, and just like no, this is the plan. Them two, constant presence outside the ring. You do your unorthodox thing and then just basically stay out of my way. Game plan over. And they're like, okay. And he gives him like an awkward pat on the shoulder, and Joe just looks at him and is like, type bit. It was a very good segment. I like that portion of it. So up next we had cruiserweight action, which ended up being an 8-man tag. Rich Swann, Cedric Alexander, Grand Metalik, and Mustafa Ali going up against Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, Noam Dar, and Arya Daivari. Fans started the wave during this match. I don't like the wave. Actually, I did. There's a point in time I like the wave. I don't really care too much for it during my wrestling shows. This was actually a good match, though. Both teams put on a good match here. The crowd kind of got back into the actual match portion when Cedric Alexander got into the ring. It seems like maybe they're going after him possibly going for the cruiserweight title next or something in that sense. To go along with everything, he ends up hitting Tony Nese with the lumbar check to gain the victory. And man, the sell that Tony Nese did for the lumbar check was it looked really good. It looked like a very impactful move, everything to go along with it. So they may be looking at with being Cedric Alexander going after the cruiserweight title next. We'll see how everything goes on that one to go along with everything. So what was up next after this though was a Neville interview. He basically runs down Akira Tozawa and Titus O'Neil, and he says he has a few words for him. They get interrupted by and Neville, just like that snarling cockiness behind him and just how he comes off is so great as a heel. He works so well at it. And yeah, he just comes off really well as a heel. He does get interrupted by Titus O'Neil and Akira Tozawa. Basically, they said they had one word for him, rematch, and it was for 205 Live. So they're going to have the rematch on 205 Live with Neville and Akira Tozawa. I guess, I'm assuming with the Cruiserweight title on the line to go along with it. So, yeah, check that one out, because those two put on good matches. I'm going to probably check that one out a little bit later after I get done with my SmackDown review. I might be going in and watching some 205 Live to watch that match and just watch the show in general. I don't get to watch it on a weekly basis, but I like to watch it from time to time because they've been putting on good shows on 205 Live. It's just not really getting recognized as such by everybody else. But like I said, they've been putting on some enjoyable shows. So this one would be a really good match to go along with it. Up next, you had Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan backstage. Basically, Jordan approaches Kurt. He says he wants to challenge Finn Balor to a match. Kurt eventually gives it to him, asking him, is like, do you think you're up for that level of competition? Jordan was saying yes, and that's what they went with. So I'll talk about that one in a little bit, actually, because Jason Jordan, I don't know what they're going to go with Jason Jordan at this point in time, but you can tell he gets like zero reaction, not even to the point of being booed. If people are displeased, it's just like kind of indifferent to him, which is very unfortunate. He's very good in the ring, and I'll talk about that match a little bit later. Up next, you had Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose coming out, basically celebrating their tag title win. They call out Cesaro and Sheamus to do their rematch now, everything in that sense. Instead, they get the Hardy Boys, who end up challenging Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose to a match. I like how Seth Rollins is like, dude, we grew up idolizing you guys. You sure you want to do this? And they're like, hey, we're still every bit as good as we once were to go along with it. And to be honest with you, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and the Hardys, I thought it was a good match. It was a very enjoyable match. And like I said, not everything was that enjoyable on Monday Night Raw. Matter of fact, it was kind of lackluster in the terms of being a Raw after such a big pay-per-view, or at least considered a really big pay-per-view. This was one of those highlights of the show in every sense of it. They came up with a lot of good areas in this one. Jeff Hardy's still throwing himself around like he's a rag doll. Somehow, at his age, I don't know how, but he is. And the Hardys worked really well with Ambrose and Rollins. I thought it came off as a really good match. This was how they also got Cesaro and Sheamus on the show, where they were basically just watching the match as it was happening to go along with it. So, yeah, just really good match. Very enjoyable match to watch. Up next, you had a Sasha Banks promo. She comes out basically to cut a promo on winning the title that from the night before. And yeah, really wasn't too much about the promo from Sasha. It was just, her talking about the title victory. She gets interrupted by Alexa Bliss. And I like how Alexa Bliss talks about, because Sasha talks about being a 4-time champion. Alexa Bliss brings that up, but she's also brings up the aspect that Sasha Banks has never successfully defended that title. Every time she's had a title defense, she's lost the next match for the title, to lose the title, in that sense of it. And of course Sasha's like, well, why don't we have your rematch right now? It's like, nah, not right now. And basically said, no, see, next week's a good time. So you're gonna have Alexa Bliss and Sasha for next week on Monday Night Raw. Will be an interesting way of seeing how that one goes off. It wasn't a bad segment. Just was kind of it kind of just set up for next week, so it wasn't overly great by any stretch. I like the line from Alexa pointing out that Sasha never defends the title successfully or anything in that sense. You have that storyline going about it. So yeah, you have some good stuff going into that one for next week. So this brings us to that Jason Jordan Finn Balor match. And what was it? Oh yeah, the point this one out. They gave his themes, because I was looking at my notes here, I was like, I kind of got this worded weirdly, but now it's popped into my brain what it is. Jason Jordan, they gave like a different beat and a different like feel to his theme music. Still sucks. Because it still sounds like the original theme music that they had gone with, just like with a different beat. It's still bad. It's no good. But the match, I enjoyed this match. This was a very good match, minus the factor of the beach ball. Another beach ball. Cesaro, where are you? That was what I was thinking throughout that entire time when I saw the beach ball. Both times, by the way. Because they had one going around during the main event as well. It's like, Cesaro, where are you? Get that beach ball and kill it. And destroy it. Just get rid of it. I don't like the beach ball, and I don't like the wave at the wrestling shows. That's just how I am. That's just how I feel. I'm not a big fan of those. But this match I thought was really good. Jason Jordan's really good in the ring. He's following... what is it? He's following under where Shelton Benjamin was. And I hate to make that comparison in that sense, because Shelton Benjamin was so good in the ring, but he had such a lack in the terms of the mic skill at that time that he wouldn't go any further than where he was, and it just felt very disappointing that he was almost relegated to that guy who would show up in the Money in the Bank ladder match to do one of the big spots and give you some crazy athletic spot, but they wouldn't do anything else with him. And I feel like that's what's going to end up happening with Jason Jordan at this point in time. And I'm hoping that's not the case, because he's really good in the ring. And I'm hoping that like either something clicks in the terms of his character and his delivery or something in that sense, and it allows him to propel him a little bit higher in that sense. Of everything, because you can tell in ring he's really, really good. Maybe they need to get to a point it's like, Kurt Angle can't, like, he falls under an aspect of he can't necessarily help his quote unquote son in this one to get ahead or anything in that sense. But he like gives him a manager, or he has him go out and get a manager or something in that sense of everything, or maybe they turn him heel. We'll see where they go with. We'll see where they go with Jason Jordan, but he's really good in the ring, and I'm hoping that they do a little bit more, are able to do a little bit more with him to like garner the aspect that he is getting almost no crowd reaction. no boos, no cheers, no anything to go along with it. He's kind of got that bad spot where it's like you're not getting a reaction at all. People are very indifferent to him at this point in time, which is very unfortunate. Like I said, in ring he's really good, and this match was really good as well. Finn Balor going over with a coup de grace though. Enjoyable match. It was an enjoyable match. I didn't care for the beach balls, especially with the factor that it's beach ball during a Finn Balor match. Really, you dig this guy as the fans, and beach balls during his match. So this brings us to the main event, which was Miz, Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns and John Cena. Again, the beach balls make another appearance, and at least Cena used this to his advantage, because they had a beach ball and they started a wave at one point, and you have Cena like encouraging everything, like playing cheerleader to everything along with it, which causes him to get distracted, which causes him to start getting beaten down. I like that he used it that way. It was a reason for him to start getting beaten down in the match and eventually have Roman Reigns come in. Though, in all honesty, this felt like a house show match. With the exception of Cena eating a Superman punch when it looked like Roman Reigns was going to hit Samoa Joe. Joe puts Cena in the way, and he eats the Superman punch from Roman Reigns in that sense. But does Cena lose? No, Cena doesn't lose there. But eventually Roman and Joe are outside. It looks like Miz is going to take the advantage. He eats the AA, and Cena and Roman end up pulling out the victory, where you have Roman basically saying, "My bad. No, it was my bad. Sorry about that. Sorry about the punch," type thing in the ring. So that's kind of starting off, subtly starting off a storyline with Roman Reigns and John Cena down the road here. Whether it happens at like a WrestleMania or something in that sense, I don't know. But you're definitely going to see a program between the two of them, and probably and I would assume a match as well during some point in time there to go along with it. So yeah, that's pretty much everything on Monday Night Raw. Overall, I didn't really care for the show that much. It just felt like a very lackluster show coming out of SummerSlam. Maybe it was just an aspect of maybe expecting some call-ups or something in that sense. I don't know exactly what it was. There were some good points to the show. I like the stuff with Elias. The Lesnar stuff with Braun Strowman, really good. I like the promo with Cena, Reigns, Miz, and Joe. I thought that was some good stuff as well. And I really did enjoy that Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Hardy's match. And I did enjoy the Jason Jordan, Finn Balor match to go along with it. So you had some good stuff on here, but it just felt like a very ho-hum Raw. It really did. It didn't really feel like it wasn't all that great. It wasn't terrible by any stretch of the imagination. I think it was just an aspect of probably expecting a little bit more and getting a little bit less than what I was expecting from this particular Monday Night Raw. Is the reason why I ended up feeling this way. So with that being said, everyone, that's everything I have for Monday Night Raw tonight. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.